I guess when it rains it pours with these tillers. This is the third one. The guy up the street here I've done some work for over in the woods there. He asked me about trying to get his running. His is locked up though, but we're going to see if we can do something with it without having to buy another engine. Too good a tiller to throw away. But hopefully this is the last tiller I have to mess with for a while. Got the plug out of it and made sure that the gas hadn't leaked into it and hydrolocked the engine. That's not the case. It is still full of oil, so it didn't lock up from lack of lubrication. So I think the next thing to do now is we're going to soak the cylinder a little bit and try to bump the crank back and forth and see if we can get it freed up. Could just be stuck rings in the cylinder without a whole lot of corrosion or debris. The only problem with doing that is if it is stuck that way, you can end up breaking a ring. In that case, we'll free up the engine, but then it will still have to come apart to have rings put it in home. But you never know. So we at least know it's locked up and it's not doing them any good. So we'll see if we can get this thing to roll over and take it from there. Now I've got the engine turned over. Not a lot of compression, but I'm still soaking it. Didn't have any fire either. These things were just full of dust and dirt and cobwebs and everything else. So I've got that off. Now we're going to set it and then see if we get any, put it back on and see if we get any fire. I'm about to cut the grill off this Oliver now. You remember last week I did that work on that guy's car, so he gave me this tractor for the wheel that I need and a couple of other parts, but he wanted the grill back, so I'm going to cut that off and get it to him. Then I can take off what I need and get rid of the rest. There we go, it's off. Now it's time to go after what I got the tractor for, this wheel. Alright, now I'll take the loader and pick it up and see if we can get it knocked off there. I got the wheel off of the Oliver. I didn't film me using the loader to pull it off because it was a little shady, and didn't think it'd be a good idea to film my possible death while I was trying to remove the wheel from that tractor. But it is off now. I will be taking the tire off of the wheel eventually. This wheel's in really good shape. It only has one area here around the valve stem that I'll need to repair, but it's in much better shape than the one that's on the tractor now. I'm about to take a trip out to the Midwest to look at some auction things out in Illinois, but also there's an engine for this 420 in Iowa. And yeah, I'm actually considering going to Iowa to pick this thing up. It's hard to find them unless they're actually in the tractors themselves. And you know that I've got the other 420 put together. That was in some episodes a while back. But this one I'd like to get it going too because it has the very rare rear PTO. And I'd like to get this one going. So we're about to head out and make a few stops, and we'll have some footage of that trip for you as well. I'm here in Morgantown, West Virginia with my second son, Maclean. We're heading to Iowa to pick up something and also stop in Illinois to check something else out, which you'll see. But what I'm most excited about right now is there's a Bob Evans behind me that is open. So most of my students know how big a fan I am of Bob Evans. So we're going to go in and have some breakfast before we head back out on our way. We're at Almond Auctions in Nokomis, Illinois. Came up here to check out some of the equipment and the tractors that are going to be up for auction soon. This is the 1912 American motorcycle that I came here to see. I was high bidder on this thing for about a week, but I needed to come up here to see just how far I wanted to go on this thing. And after looking at it and seeing what's here and how complete it is, I'm willing to go quite a ways to own this thing. So we'll see. The auction is still another 11 days away. But from completion anyway, but we'll see. We'll keep you posted. Some of the original decaling is still in place. There's no drive belt, but the engine does turn over and the idler spins. Skip tooth chain is also not there, but that would be pretty easily obtained. Both of the throttles for the carburetor and the ignition timing, both move freely. My worry is that someone will purchase this and really screw it up. But at an auction like this, that's not likely. Ideally, you'd want this bike running with new rubber, no full restoration. Even the leather seat looks original. It doesn't show the signs of wear of a bike of this age. So I'm sure it's been sitting for many decades, even long before I was born. This is another bike I looked at and was bidding on. The literature says it's 1938 Model 20, but I don't see a Model 20 in my literature from 1938. 37 and 39, but not a 38. Since this came over from Europe, it's hard to tell if my literature is going to be as accurate. Very cool piece, but not the one I'm after. So other than the motorcycle, this is one of the other tractors I came up to see. This is JohnDeere D. I might have one. If you guys remember, I brought it back from Michigan last year. But this one's got the steel wheels I'm looking for. It does turn over. So this could be a good one. And all through the line here of these, which are interesting to look at. Cross Motor Minneapolis, Hyder. There's a tractor here I've never heard of. Keck Gonnerman. I've never heard of this tractor. I'm going to do some research. The auction is still over a week away. It's locked up, and there's looks to be complete. So I'm definitely going to be looking this one up and maybe bidding on it. Mag's there, the carb's there, fuel tank, manifold still looks good. So this is one that could be a potential addition to Tractor Alley. This is just a few of the stationary engines that they have for sale coming up. I've got some of these. Not interested in purchasing any of theirs, but there's a lot of stuff here. A lot of awesome stuff. This is just a few of some of the amazing tractors that are going to be at auction here soon. Everything from the 30s and before. It's fantastic to see all of these tractors in one place, but they're all going to be split up and sent to different parts of the country pretty soon probably, and some of them will more than likely go overseas as well. Just came in to take one last look at the bike before we head to Iowa. Figured since we were in Iowa, we might as well stop by LeClaire. This is where their main facility is. It is right by the Mississippi, up on a hill, very small area. So they use a lot of wide-angle lenses in their shots, I'm assuming. That's the building that they put up just a few years back. There's the original shot. So when we go inside and take a look around, you might recognize some of the stuff from the show. This is the infamous Indian that was buried in Connecticut that they pulled out of the dirt. There's a Harley that's just a couple years newer than mine. This is the newest building. A lot of the stuff in here that over the years you might have seen on the show. Very little in here is really for sale. A lot of shirts and license plates and things like that. But a lot of not for sale signs on things as well. It is really cool to have all the stuff in one place that you're able to go and take a look at. I had to pull the sound back from these because the shops had music playing in them that I don't have the rights to. So
That's why there's no background sound. So this is the original building in the shop area. A lot of times when you're watching the show, this is where some of the footage is being shot from. It's another Harley in here. It's a little bit newer than mine. I got some pictures of to help me put mine together. It's really cool to see this much stuff together, and it's also, for me, it's cooler because some of the stuff that's in here I own. So it's kind of cool to see the same stuff.
Other than going to Illinois and checking out the equipment and the motorcycles at that auction, we also headed to Iowa to pick this engine up. This engine is for my other John Deere 420 that I have. They're a little difficult to come by unless you buy the entire tractor, so I was fortunate to find it. So once we get back, we'll begin the process of putting this into that tractor. And for right now, we are headed back home.
Next time on Bulldog Builds, we should have our carb kits in for the 1970 Honda 750. And we're going to begin working on our Harley and get that frame cleaned off to begin the process of putting this wonderful bike back together. See you next week.